Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to part 2 of the Paver Patio build. Drew and I just pulled up on job site. We're getting everything unloaded, getting all the drop cords out, getting ready to plug the saw up. And here's where we're at, guys. If you've seen in the previous video, we got to get over here and level this sand up on this side. We're going to start laying a bunch of pavers this morning. We appreciate all of you that are following along with this project and can't wait for you to see the end result. So stick with us this morning and we'll be showing you some more progress once we get some made. Thank you. Guys, I'm getting ready to cut a few fill-in pieces for these holes right here that are going down this line right here next to this border. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do this. Guys, it's really not necessary really to even use a tape measure on this. You can kind of eyeball this. All you're really going to need is a pencil and a square. A pencil. Take your pencil, make you a little mark here on exactly where you need to cut that. Just like so. Flip it over, throw your square on there, and I'll try to do that. Hang on guys, can't do it and holding the phone at the same time. Bear with me. So guys, once you've gotten your line marked on your paver, the way you want to cut it, go ahead and put your respirator on. Don't learn the hard way like me, because you aren't going to believe how much dust is created right here when I start doing this. Here we go. There you go, guys. Now let's go over here and put it in place. And guys, if you were smart enough to mark the bottom of which side you wanted to go in here, you wouldn't have to figure it out like I'm about to have to. But seeing as how I did not mark it, I got to see which side that I cut went in here. And it was actually this one right here. So I'm just kind of lightly tapping it into place here, just like so. I'm just barely doing this, guys, trying not to break this piece. There we go, guys. And that is how I cut and install in our filler pieces. And I'm getting ready to go down here all around this edge where I've got them and repeat this same process. Okay guys, Drew and I just finished screeding that last little bit from this corner right here over here to the end. And I'm getting ready to set the camera up and show you guys how we're actually laying this pattern through here. Tell them how hot it is. Just tell them.
It's hot.
You dang right it is. All right, I got to get back in the zone from yesterday. These will be the first ones I've laid since, other than doing the...
If I had them over here, I'd have been done.
Yeah, I say that's right. So, kind of just stepping them, guys. You got to put one way, and then one the other. Hopefully you guys are able to see this in the shot. Of course, when you're laying any type of tile work or paver patio stones, it's always good to have something to rest your knees on. Because if you don't, I can assure you at the end of the day, you're going to wish you would have.
Some of us is used to it, though.
Drew's used to being on his knees, he just said, and I hope you guys caught that on camera. So I never met too many people that's proud to admit that, but hey, to each his own. So good job, Drew. Stay on them knees, buddy. Wear them babies out.
That's surgery on one.
What you doing?
That's surgery on one already.
He's on his knees so much he's had to have surgery on it. So should I be working this close to you? Do you need to move out west?
California.
Guys, and whenever you're laying any type of brick or patio paver, if you'll look right here at these two stones, they both came off the same pallet. Notice this one is a lot bluer than this one. And some of the rows, they'll be, way bluer than the rest. So whenever you're laying them down, you always want to keep that in mind and make sure that you're not setting a ton of blue stones together or a ton of light ones. You want to kind of keep it all mixed up sporadically here and there. So just a little quick note to keep in mind. Thanks, sir. I was just getting ready to say I'm getting ready to have to get a few more pavers, so I appreciate that, Drew. Hopefully you guys are able to see this pattern well. It's a pretty neat pattern. I found it online and I sent it over to Ken and wanted to get approval from him and his wife on it. And the second that they said yes, I kind of got nervous as can be because I'd never laid this pattern before. And I didn't show it on video, but right over there, look, yesterday, if you look, I done got a lot of them now, but I was up here, I probably laid a 4 foot by 4 foot section there. Of these things, just trying to get that pattern down. Before we started, sorry for shaking the camera like that, guys. Try to adjust it here. Show you guys a little bit more of this. If this is your first time visiting this channel, I'd like to invite all of you to subscribe. Drew and I are constantly doing all different types of projects. If you'd like to go back and visit some of our water feature builds, look back at some of our previous videos. And if you didn't see part 1 of this particular project, I actually uploaded it yesterday evening, and that is simply titled How to Build a Paver Patio Part 1. I believe that's what I called it. I may have went one too far right there, so I gotta stop right there and check all that. So hopefully you guys have been able to see how I'm laying that. Stay tuned, and we'll show you guys more in just a bit. Okay guys, Drew's over here throwing more sand, getting ready to get all that leveled up. He's already got this border layout for this border row going all the way down through here, and I'm getting ready to go in here now. I've already marked all of these blocks. I don't know if you guys can see my pencil line on there or not. Yeah, you can see it. And I've been scribbling on the bottom of each one so I know which way to put it in there. And now I'm getting ready to go simply cut all these and go back and put them in place. Here we go. Okay guys, like I've been mentioning already, we've got that pipe over there level with this pipe right here. We're taking this board, placing it atop of each pipe, and watch, we're getting ready to screed all this back so that everything in between the pipes is perfectly level. Here we go. You ready, Drew? And you're going to try to stay on top of these pipes as smooth as possible. Notice all this sand building up in front of our board. And we're going to pull all this down to the end of these pipes. And we'll likely have to do it a couple more times to make sure that we've got it perfect. I'm about 2.5 feet from the end of this first pipe. About 1 foot from the pipe. At the end of it. And that's how you screed everything back level, guys. We may go ahead and make another pass or two. He's getting ready to throw a couple scoops of sand right here in the low spots. That's another good thing about doing that. Once you screed that back, if there is any low spots, they will make themselves visible. So once he finishes throwing these extra few scoops of sand on here, we're getting ready to repeat that. And we'll show you some more footage here just momentarily when we get some more progress made. We've got quite a few pavers laid out now, ready to begin. Once we get this finished up being level, Drew's over here right now. I don't know if you guys can tell how, look at there, look at where his shirt's dry right there and how wet he's soaking wet with sweat. We both are. Drew, so what's going on down here underneath the lip of this house? Can you tell everybody about what you're doing?
Got the stringer in level from one end to the other, going back and leveling the blocks on to the string.
Because if you'll remember, guys, if you've seen in part 1, underneath this area right here below my hand, this is the footer of the home. So if you'll remember, that ground can't be compacted very much at all. So we're having to do all that right there by hand. And that goes underneath that bay window there, all the way down to the beginning of where the deck starts. So that's pretty much the hardest line that we've got to run. And as soon as he finishes that, once again, we'll screed this sand one more time. And then I'm going to start laying all these pavers that we've got already stacked up here ready to go. And if you might be wondering at home, just how hot is it on them boys? Well, look at my clothes, guys. Looks like I freaking peed in my pants. You see that? Pants are freaking soaked. Shirt soaked. I don't know if you guys can. It's hot. Trust me. Come over here real quick before I shut this camera off. I'll give you guys a little progress shot. It's so hard working underneath that bay window. Let me flip it around and show you how tight that is. You see Drew squatted down there. I'll try to give you guys a close-up shot and lay under here with him. So, if you'll look under here, this how tight this is right here, guys. He has turned that hammer sideways.
About 5 inches.
Yeah. And if you guys will look overhead here at this wood, that is those composite deck boards. And I had to seal this all the way down to this back corner behind me. And I had to seal it like that all the way down to that corner and all the way over to that corner. Because when we first started working out here, all of this was rotten underneath here and was wide open. And animals had been going straight through here and getting over inside Ken's crawl space. So we got all that straightened up for him a while back. I just wanted you guys to see how tight that is right here. I mean, look at that, how low that is. So anyways, we've gotten quite a bit laid down since you've seen it last. I'm giving everybody a good shot of your rear end there, Drew, so I know all you girls are welcome. So we're getting ready to right now run the last remaining, the border line right here of the blue border. We're getting ready to come right down the edge of this deck board here. And that's where we're at, guys. So there's an up-to-date shot of where we're at. Haven't really missed any steps in between. Once we get to the next step, I will be sure to post it so you guys can all follow along in case you're trying to do this at home as a DIY project. Hey, Drew said don't do it. Yeah, if you're smart, you'll just hire somebody else to do it. Somebody like me and him that ain't got enough sense to stay out of this heat. So stick with us, guys. There's a lot more to see. Here we go. Don't fall, Drew. Guys, this is about the hardest part of the job, is going back and forth and getting pavers to work with. Just usually bringing about a stack of 8 at a time. If I try to get more than 8, I keep letting them fall over. And And once you've gotten you a nice pile to work with, can you guys see how soaking wet I am? Look at that. Looks like I peed in my pants. It might feel pretty good if I did, but I don't believe I'm going to. So now it's just time to get back to the stacking here. And hopefully this big pile right here is going to really knock out some of the remaining portion here of what's left to do. Like I mentioned earlier, try to keep not so many of the same color right next to each other. If you got a lot of heavy blues, try to separate them with some light ones and vice versa. Like look how light that is compared to say that one. So I'm gonna throw a light one right there. I'm gonna throw this bluer one right here. And this pattern, guys, I've kind of got it figured out now. If you can do it kind of fast, basically if you're right here, you kind of just do one up, one sideways. One up, one sideways. And it's pretty much the same way like that throughout the entire project. Minus whenever you get to the edges where your border is and where you've got to go back and make your cuts to fill in the gaps from where the half blocks are going to go. There's a nice blue one. So guys, stay tuned. As you can see, there's a lot of progress being made right now between Drew and myself. Hopefully whenever we pick up again here in a second, you guys are going to be able to see a lot more of it done. And hopefully we'll have this thing wrapped up here within the next couple hours. Stick with us, guys. Appreciate all of you following along. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, we just finished setting the last few stones in place. Drew is currently working on the border here. And then I'm going to flip the camera around and show you these few holes that I got to cut. Drew said when he finishes this border, he is going to the hospital. You ain't hot, are you? No. So guys, you can see these holes that I've got to go cut all the way around these edge work here. All the way around this edge work here. I've got several holes underneath there in that troublesome area that I got to get to. So I don't know how many I've got to cut here. You know, a dozen or so. So once I finish making these cuts and filling all those holes in that you see, and after we finish all that border right there, after we do that, we've got to go in and put our border lock in place. So that what you see laying on that deck will go right down the edge of that, from the edge all the way over to the driveway. And once that is done, we're going to put our G2 locking sand over everything, sweep it and make it go into all the cracks. Once all that's done, we're going to run that tamping machine over all of that, sweep it all off, and once it's all swept off and blowed off clean, we'll then rinse it to get everything to set and lock in place. Drew's back here grading off that big mound of dirt, getting rid of that, smoothing it all level. I'm going to show you guys a little tip when marking these things that you got to cut. Check this out. So when you've got quite a few pavers that you need to cut, I've been finding it easier to go ahead and mark them all. Can you guys see those lines? Let me know in the comments if you can see the lines. I believe you can. Then also, after you make your line, after you've gotten it the way it needs to be, it's best if you'll just go ahead and scribble on the bottom. That way you know to put that scribble side in your hole. And I've done that on every one of these pavers that you see. So everywhere you see a paver that I've got laid there, I've got to cut that, including all those under there as well. So how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 2 dozen cuts, guys. 2 dozen cuts. I got to get with it. Guys, we're trying to rush it. It's getting ready to come a thunderstorm here. Winds are blowing like crazy. I just finished the last cut. Gonna flip it around and show you those cuts that I made and show you what Drew's up to real quick. And we're gonna try to knock this out before this storm gets us. Hang on 1 second. So that border that Drew's working on right now, that is a locking border. I'm gonna come over here and give you guys a shot of what he's doing. Notice how that lip goes up against the pavers. And I don't know the exact length of those nails that he's using. They're probably at least 10 inches long. And as you can see, once he goes through there driving those in the ground, that's going to lock that in place and hold everything tight for whenever we go back here just momentarily and run over that entire pad with that tamping machine, which I have to have back at Site 1 in a little over an hour. It's 3:21 p.m. I believe they close at 4:30. So I gotta have that thing back in about an hour and 9 minutes. As you can see, I made all those cuts. Felt like I made about 150 of them. Now we've got to go back now and put the Gator G2 locking sand over all this. And I'm going to sweep all that into the cracks. I'll try to give you guys a shot of all that as we do it. As you can see, guys, we're still trying to hurry up and beat this storm. I'm trying to get all this clean real quick before I put any of that locking sand on top of it. So all I'm doing is blowing everything off, trying to make sure all the debris is clear. I just finished blowing all that off. There's nothing left on it. But what I'm holding up on right now is, guys, I keep feeling it sprinkling a little bit, then it'll stop. I keep waiting to see if it's going to storm or not, because once you start putting that locking sand down, wetting it is what sets it. So if there's locking sand over the top of your pavers and you let it get wet, that stuff's going to cure right there on top of your pavers. You're not going to get it off, trust me. So what we need to do is make sure it stays dry long enough for me to get that locking sand on top of all this, get it swept into all the cracks as best I can, run the tamping machine over all of that, and then blow it off. Make sure there's no residue at all. Zero residue can be left. Then we wet it. So as of right this second, it looks like it may be blowing over, but I'm just about afraid to risk it. I'd hate to think I worked this hard, or we worked this hard getting all this done, and then try to rush and mess in a little bit of rain. So I'm probably going to hang tight for another 10 or 15 minutes, guys, and then I will give you guys an update as soon as I find out what we're going to do. So stick with us. Your guess is as good as mine. Well, guys, it's been raining ever since that last clip that I showed you. Drew's got all that ground nice and level. Check it out. There's no more big mound of dirt. We've got everything loaded up. I've got to come back in the morning now, do all that locking sand, so everything is cleaned off. Today is Thursday, September 6th. So you guys won't get to see this finished video till Friday evening. That'll be the 7th. That's also going to be depending on weather. So take a good look at it all, guys. Then we'll come back in the morning and give you guys footage of the steps of how we go ahead and put the locking sand down. Also, one more thing I gotta add, Matt Freitag does have to come back and build a pressure treated step to come out that door. So other than the locking sand, spraying it all down, make sure it's all clean, and the step, this job's a wrap. But we'll talk to you guys again in the morning. Stick with us, I wanted to get it done too. Sorry, guys. Hey guys, good Friday morning. Tanner and Drew here. We just pulled up on the job site to finish up this paver patio build for my buddy Ken Roart. We're getting ready to make 2 passes with a tamping machine right now before we put any of our locking sand down. We want to go ahead and get all these pavers set and locked in place. Once those 2 passes have been made, we will put the G2 locking sand in here. We'll get everything swept into the cracks. We'll make 2 more additional passes with the tamping machine with the locking sand in place. But for now, check this out. I'm getting ready to set the camera up, and I'll show you guys how we're setting them in place for the very first initial set. Here we go. Guys, I'm going to get this machine over here and start it in place. Or I'm going to attempt to anyway. Give me just a second. I kind of like to start it right here on the corner. Yeah. I want to make my 2 laps. So here we go, guys. Switch it on. Okay guys, we just finished making those first 2 laps around the entire paver patio with the tamping machine. And what we're getting ready to do now is go put our locking sand in place. Once again, we're using the Gator Max G2. I don't know if you guys can see it in the shot, but once we get this spread, I'll give you guys a shot of us sweeping it into the cracks before we run that tamping machine over it 2 more times. Here we go. Now these cracks are really minuscule in size, but I'll try to come down here and get you some close-up shots. So if you see these tiny, tiny gaps that are left in between each paver stone, we're getting ready to fill all those with sand. And then once that sand is wet, that is what's going to trigger it to cure, and it's going to lock everything firmly in place. So here we go, getting ready to start spreading the sand now. Once you've gotten your bag open, guys, just kind of want to go around sprinkling it over all this. Trying to keep it pretty much as even as I possibly can. And like I said, then we're going to go back and sweep every bit of this into the cracks as best as we possibly can. Once we finish doing that, like I already mentioned, we're going to make 2 more complete laps over this entire patio with the tamping machine. Guys, if you look close, there is that locking sand over this entire patio right now. You can kind of see if you look down those edges where Drew's already swept some of it into the cracks, and that's what he's doing right now. Just want to see you guys to see exactly how you're supposed to do that. So once again, just kind of spread all that locking sand out over your entire working area, and then just basically sweep every bit of it into the cracks as best as you possibly can. And then once we finish that, we're getting ready to run the tamping machine again. Guys, look close over that entire pad there. We've got that locking sand. And if you look close down here at the bottom at the cracks, you can see how full they are right now. Drew is beginning this first pass with a tamping machine. Keep in mind, we got to make 2 laps over the entire thing. I'll try to give you a close-up shot of what this thing's doing. Hey guys, just finished sweeping. There's a lot of sweeping to be done if you're trying to do it as good as what we're trying to do. Don't think you're just going to come over here and pitter patter with your broom and you're going to be finished, because you're going to be wrong. We swept it all, we've tamped it all, we swept it again, and now after we swept all that, now he's going back and trying to blow it all off. We want to try to get this as clean as possible before we add any water to this. So I'll flip it around and try to give you a close-up one more time of what these cracks and joints are looking like right now. Try to focus your attention on the, I'll just try to say it for a second. Look at the gaps in between the pavers themselves. See how full they are, guys? After he tamped it, you realize all that sunk down. That's why I had to go back and sweep it all again to refill them all. He's just trying to blow it all clean right now. And we're just moments away from spraying it with water for the first time, which will do, like I said already, lock everything in place. Stick with us. All right, guys, for the final step, Drew is spraying everything off right now. And not just spraying it off, but actually making everything set and lock in place. I'll try. What do you say, Drew? I can paint cars. Oh, you can paint cars? It looks like you're painting it. So check it out, guys. When you're using the Gator Max G2, you just need a light barrier of water going over all that. Don't try to drown it, guys. Don't try to flood it out. Just give it a good misting. If you go by the label, it calls to mist it for 1 minute straight. So that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get it wet here all over from corner to corner for approximately 1 minute, which is probably going to be 2 coverages, I would say. Stay with us and I'll show you guys a final clip of it as soon as he finishes. Okay, the original plan for the step right here was to have Matt Freitag come over here and build a pressure treated step. I had an idea laying in bed last night. Well, why don't we go over to site 1 with Ryan and get one of the pre-cut stepping stones. So I'm just going to take a quick measurement of how high it is from the bottom of the pavers here. That's 17 inches max. 17 inches max to the bottom of the door All right, guys, let's go over here and pick out a nice rock for that. It's going to set everything off. Hey, guys, we just got back from site 1. Drew and I both picked it. This rock was on the bottom of a stack. He and I both picked this same rock out without even knowing if that's what the other one liked. And, guys, it is so freaking heavy. As wide as a door. And we might be able to do it by hand. Find in your way back here. Slide down about right here. Does it match over there? Just a little bit, like a half inch. There we go. That's not bad. You want to do it by hand? Give them out. Put them outside. Go ahead one more time. Don't fart. One more. There you go. Guys, thank you all so much for following Drew and I along on this build. I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. I hope it's been informative, especially for all you guys that may be contemplating tackling one of these projects on your own. So I'll flip it around real quick and give you guys another shot of that. Just 1 second here. The rock is now set in place for the step there. I'll give you guys a good shot of that. And Drew's going to go over it one more time, just rinsing everything off really clean for Ken and Miss Roark. What do you say, Drew? I think so. Yeah, go ahead and rinse it. Make sure everything's clean. Rinse the dirt off that new rock. Love that new rock, guys, for a step. Way, way natural. This border, Miss Roark was just asking me, guys. Right now with this dirt still bare, you can still see that black locking border. But guys, once the grass starts growing up right here, this will sit here and cover all that up with the grass. You won't be able to see it at all here in no time. So I'm going to back up one more time, guys. Give you guys one more shot of the Paver Patio build right next to the 12 by 15 deck build that Drew and Matt and I did just a couple weeks back. Here's you guys a full pan shot. Guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, smash that subscribe button below. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you think about these projects. Drew and I work our hearts out to make these projects be as best as they can possibly be. And that's why we stay so busy, guys. So if you're curious as to why we get so much business, feel free to give me a call at 423-503-0512 or visit us online at pondartist.com, and you too will find out why so many people choose to do business with us.